Vision coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. I'm Uyi Agumofwebe. We'd like to remind you that Global Television is on DSTV, channel 365, and Star Times, channel 276. President Bola Tinubu has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to defeating terrorism and strengthening diplomatic ties with Nigeria's global partners. The president declared this before the Federal Executive Council meeting entered a closed-door session at the Council Chamber of Aso Rock Villa in Abuja. His remarks come days after U.S. President Donald Trump had designated Nigeria as a country of particular concern, a move the federal government has described as a misrepresentation of the nation's security situation. Meanwhile, experts in Nigeria have been reacting to comments by U.S. President Donald Trump, who has insisted that Christianity is facing an existential threat in Nigeria. Trump, in a video released by the White House, alleged that thousands of Christians are being killed by radical groups, a claim that has sparked widespread debate. Over now to Zirao Nasiru for details.
In an interview with Global Television, political and security analyst Professor Ibrahim Abubakar explained that Trump's remarks underscored the growing international concern about insecurity in Nigeria, particularly the religious undertones of some violent attacks.
Trump is only coming in because Nigeria refused to be independent. No, it is not. Go and look at the documents very well, which our fathers signed in 1960. Nigeria became a nation, not an independent nation. So you cannot say they gave you independence. There is nothing like independence in that document. I must name a dog with a bad name to slaughter it. So we have to be slaughtered because we have been termed a genocide nation.
Public policy consultant Emmanuel Ozumena also spoke to Global Television on the possible diplomatic implications of Trump's statement, especially if Washington decides to take further action.
Read what President Trump said. So he was specific. So if they are coming to take out the terrorists, if I was an advisor to the president, I would say, okay, Mr. President, why don't we get the Minister of Foreign Affairs to get his colleague, Secretary Rubio, who incidentally is close to Trump, because he's a top-ranking, the president, vice president, the next person is Secretary of State. Get him to, that we welcome this military action.
The U.S. politician has previously accused Nigerian authorities of failing to stop attacks on Christian communities and even threatened to deploy the U.S. Department of War if what he called a Christian genocide continues. While the Nigerian government is yet to officially respond to Trump's latest comments, security experts maintain that issues of faith and violence must be treated with caution to avoid further division. Zahra Nasser, reporting for Global TV News.
Oh, thank you, Foreign Affairs Correspondent Zahra Nasser. Ministry of Foreign Affairs has briefed members of the diplomatic corps on the reform trajectory under the administration of President Bola Tinubu. The event was attended by diplomats from different countries at the ministry's headquarters in Abuja. Global Television Foreign Affairs Correspondent Ramsin Enoch Agbo has details.
The Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Dunoma Umar Ahmed, who represented the minister, Ambassador Yusuf Tuga, says the removal of fuel subsidy marked another pivotal milestone in Nigeria's fiscal reform journey. The briefing was a follow-up to the minister's invitation of Wednesday, 7th August, where he intimated members of the diplomatic corps on the programs and measures being implemented by the federal government aimed at achieving better life for all Nigerians. He said monies from subsidy is now being redirected towards social investment, infrastructure development, and education.
Previously costing over 4 trillion annually, The subsidy had become economically unsustainable and disproportionately beneficial to a narrow segment of the population. Its removal freed substantial fiscal resources that are now being redirected towards social investment, infrastructure development, and education. The savings have been reinvested through initiatives such as the Infrastructure Support Fund for states, the renewed Hope Conditional Cash Transfer Scheme, and targeted support for transport and food security programs.
The minister also said national security remains a top priority for the Tinubu administration and that there is a comprehensive approach combining military strength, intelligence, diplomacy, and community engagement.
Continuing to implement far-reaching and beneficial reforms that
to cherish and value the cordial relationship between her and individual countries, as well as international organizations. Ramsey Enoch Agbo reporting for Global TV News.
Away from Ramsey's report now, let's talk a bit of politics. The crisis rocking the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has taken another turn as the faction loyal to National Acting Chairman Umar Damagum has convened an emergency meeting of the Board of Trustees in Abuja. Political correspondent Ubong Usoro has more.
The meeting, held at the Bauchi's Governor's Lodge in Asokoro, Abuja, brought together key members of the National Working Committee, members of the Board of Trustees, and other stakeholders. The emergency BOT session aimed to address the ongoing leadership tussle within the party and chart a path towards reconciliation ahead of the forthcoming PDP National Convention. Speaking during the meeting, Acting National Chairman Umar Damagum reiterated its commitment to peace and unity within the PDP.
A time when some have sought to manipulate our courts and intimidate our judges, it takes bravery to stand for the truth and defend the law. The judgment is not just a victory for our party, but for democracy. And that, my dear party leaders and members, this is exactly what this moment in our national trajectory demands of us as an opposition. Courage.
Also in attendance were prominent party leaders who called for dialogue, discipline, and mutual respect among members. The PDP has been embroiled in a leadership crisis, with a faction loyal to National Secretary Samuel Anyanwu challenging Damagum's authority. Ubong Usoro for Global Television.
Thank you, Ubong. Executive Secretary of the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, architect Sonny Echeno, says collaboration with the Public Service Institute of Nigeria is key to building a more efficient and professional public service. He stated this during a strategic meeting between both institutions at the fund's headquarters in Abuja. Jomai Manson has details.
At the meeting, top management teams of TETFund and the Public Service Institute of Nigeria reviewed ongoing partnerships and explored fresh opportunities to strengthen capacity building and innovation across the public sector. Executive Secretary TETFund, Architect Sonny Echonu, underscored the need for continuous professional development to help public servants adapt to modern governance demand. He said, TETFund remains committed to supporting training and innovation that would drive national growth and enhance service delivery.
So I urge you to take advantage of those opportunities, but I don't want to renew the assurances of having a lot of respect for the PSI and the work they're doing. And we are also proud of the collaboration.
In response, the Administrator and Chief Executive Officer of Public Service Institute of Nigeria, Barrister Imam Okon, said the visit is to deepen collaboration with TETFund and reposition the institute as a hub for all public service training needs. She outlined ongoing efforts to expand programs in leadership development, digital skills, and pre-retirement training, while introducing new initiatives such as Smart P and Lead P to prepare officers for higher responsibilities. She emphasized the importance of Peason's Exit Masterclass designed to equip retiring officers with skills for a smooth transition to post-service life.
We should try to see how we can get people that would retire at least 5 years ahead, start preparing them for exit, because it's not easy trying to integrate after being in the civil service for years, now trying to integrate into the marketplace, because the marketplace is very competitive.
Both initiatives agreed to work towards a new memorandum of understanding to familiarize their collaborations. The partnership is expected to promote professionalism, improve governance efficiency, and align public service training with emerging global trends. With this renewed commitment, TETFund and the Public Service Institute of Nigeria are setting the pace for a smarter, more responsive, and future-ready public service. Jumai Manson, reporting for Global Television News.
We appreciate your reporting, Jumai. Imo State government says it is sustaining its drive for infrastructure development, economic expansion, and improved welfare for citizens. Commissioner for Information, Public Orientation and Strategy, Declan Emelumba, disclosed this while briefing journalists after the State Executive Council meeting presided over by Governor Hope Uzodinma. A correspondent, Samarachi Ibe, reports.
At the government house Owerri, the Imo State Executive Council met to review progress on key projects and policies across critical sectors. Briefing newsmen after the meeting, the Commissioner for Information said the Council deliberates on reports from ministries and agencies on roads, housing, health and commerce, among others.
First of all, the ESCO approved the purchase of various official vehicles for government services, and also approved 15% payment of consultancy fees to Tyras White Consort Limited for the successful review, reconciliation and recovery of the Federation's unremitted Nigeria liquefied natural gas dividends and unremitted oil revenue to states from January 1999 to date.
The Council also received updates and approved the Cohort 4 Skill Up Imo project aimed at equipping more young people with digital and vocational skills for self-reliance and productivity.
The ESCO was also informed and approved for the recruitment of Cohort 4 Skill Up Imo project, and this process has commenced and it can be done through my Imo app. Imo people are advised or encouraged to apply as the recruitment is ongoing.
With a renewed commitment to transparency and accountability, the Uzodinma-led administration says it will continue to deliver tangible results that reflect good governance and responsible leadership. From Owerri, I'm Marachi Ibe, reporting for Global TV News.
A coalition of civil society groups has staged a peaceful protest against factory farming and multinational meat company JBS, accusing them of marginalizing smallholder farmers across the country. Obong Usoro has details.
The protesters, comprising environment advocates, civil society organization, and local farmers, say smallholder farmers make up 70% of Nigeria's agricultural workforce, but remain neglected in government policies and international partnerships.
So right now, we are saying before JBS establishes tentacles in our country, in our communities, we have to do due diligence.
They argued that ongoing dominance of industrial livestock companies like JBS poses a serious threat to local food security, rural livelihoods, and environment, citing issues such as deforestation, water pollution, and unfair market competition.
Let's come out with our strength, with our energy. Let's come to the top of our voice that we say no to any type of investment that degrades our forests.
The protesters urged the federal government to prioritize sustainable agricultural practices and provide smallholder farmers with better access to credit facilities, markets, and climate resilience technologies. The group also called for stronger environmental laws to ensure multinational agri-businesses operate responsibly and sustainably in Nigeria. Ubong Usoro for Global Television News.
Television, and you're watching the live broadcast of the AM News. When the rest of the news broadcast returns shortly, Philippines president declares national calamity as typhoon death toll tops 100. We'll have those details from the foreign scene as well as more stories from business and sports for you. Please stay with us. Returns with business. The federal government, through the Bank of Agriculture, is calling for applications for the Renewed Hope National Agricultural Mechanization Program. The program, unveiled in collaboration with Heifer Nigeria, is aimed at bolstering Nigeria's food security by empowering a new generation of mechanization service providers with a special focus on women, youth, and mechanization companies. A flyer posted by the Special Assistant to President Bola Tinubu on social media, Dada Olusegun, stated that the application is free and currently ongoing, urging interested individuals to apply via the official website before a strict deadline of November 10, 2025. Meanwhile, Minister of Agriculture Abubakar Kyari says food prices are easing nationwide, showing that government measures are beginning to work as Nigeria moves toward food sovereignty. He listed key reforms, including expanded agro-pocket schemes, all-year wheat production, and new rain-fed cultivation in Plateau, Taraba, and Cross River states. Kyari also unveiled plans to reduce post-harvest losses through better storage systems and grain reserve upgrades across 8 states. Let's turn to the foreign scene now. Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos has declared a state of national calamity after Typhoon Kamegi killed at least 140 people, leaving another 127 missing, unleashing devastating flooding across central Philippines. With the storm now heading towards Vietnam, the president's announcement of a national calamity authorizes the government to release funding for aid and impose pricing ceilings on basic necessities. Floodwaters, described as unprecedented, rushed through Cebu province's towns and cities this week, sweeping away cars, riverside shanties, and massive shipping containers. President Marcos says it is unfortunate that another typhoon is coming, with the potential to become even stronger.
Because of the scope of, shall we say, problem areas that will be hit, that has been hit by Tino and will be hit by Uwan, there was a proposal from the NDRMC, which I approved, that we will declare a national calamity, because ilang regions na yan, there will be almost 10 regions, 12 regions that will be affected.
More than 1,500 kilometers to the country's east, tropical storm Fungwang is slowly building strength as it heads towards the Philippines' main island of Luzon, one that could reach super typhoon status before it makes a landfall on Monday. Uyi Agmofwe. Let's take a look at sports for you. Former president of the Nigeria Football Federation, NFF, Amaju Pinnick, is troubled by the lingering calls for accountability in the management of funds and projects by the body, noting that the criticisms are not good for the country. The country's Football Federation is still under fire for its handling of funds received from FIFA, with football enthusiasts circulating claims via social media that the body had misappropriated funds from the FIFA Forward 2.0 program for the construction of 2 mini stadiums, which were valued at $1.2 million each. Although the NFF had since denied the claims, Pinnick, who was the president between 2014 and 2022 when the grants were allocated, has again come to the defense of the NFF and Nigerian sports institutions in general. And as your AM news here on Global Television, we say thank you for watching. I am Uyi Agmofwegbe. Starting shortly is Global Morning.
you.